The Puck Portfolio with Andy MacNeil.
Hi, everybody. We are live for the first time with producer Jake. Jake, you want to come in and say hello?
Hi all, hi all. Good to be here. Good to be here. Good to be live. Feels good. Feels good.
Yeah, it does. And this show, if you did not know already, is sponsored by NorthStar Bets. Check them out via the link in the description below. They offer early NHL odds on the next day's games, which is something that we appreciate here on this show. And unfortunately, there are no games on Tuesday because, of course, the NHL found a way to make this week even worse. I mean, we've got no games on Thursday, American Thanksgiving, and now we've got no games on Tuesday. It really doesn't make any sense. But we've got some games to talk about on on Monday. We'll get into those, and of course, we'll be back on Tuesday, looking ahead to Wednesday. So we'll fill the void for you either way. Maybe we'll talk some futures later on this show to make up for some of the time that we would usually spend talking about the next day's NHL games. But yeah, let's get into a schedule breakdown and look at what we've got going here for today. Jake, if you could just pull that schedule breakdown up, thank you very much. The Florida Panthers, they've got 2 days rest taking on the Edmonton Oilers, while the San Jose Sharks, they've got 3 days rest taking on the Vancouver Canucks in Vancouver. Everybody else has just 1 day's rest. I won't spend a whole lot of time here. I factor this into my projections, and we're going to get to those right away because we've only got 7 games to talk about today. Might as well get into them. Some news and updates to think about here as well. Sergei Bobrovsky, he's going to get the start for the Florida Panthers today. Wasn't sure if it was going to be Bobrovsky, given how good Anthony Stolarz has been for the Panthers so far. Bobrovsky not necessarily playing bad by any means, but yeah, he is in goal today, and I've liked the Panthers a little bit here. Enough for a half unit bet at minus 112, the current odds at NorthStar Bets. And yeah, so I'm gonna lock that in right now. That is a 0.5 unit play on the Florida Panthers at minus 112, the current odds at NorthStar Bets. And yeah, it's if you've been here before, you know why I'm probably not going to have a whole lot today for Monday's games. Didn't get a chance to get ahead of things with those early odds being posted on Sunday. So it's game day, and it's a little bit tougher to get down on some good numbers. But I do see some value here on the Florida Panthers. Look, Alexander Barkov, he's not going to be in the lineup. Florida is 5-8-2 without their captain during the last 2 seasons, so dating back to the beginning of 2022-23, and that's not great. But this Panthers team has been really good this season. In November alone, they rank as the 4th best team at 5-on-5 in expected goals, and they're scoring about 58% of the goals at 5-on-5. You look at the Oilers; they've got some pretty strong underlying metrics. They're right behind the Panthers in terms of expected goals at 54.7%. In the top 10, number 7 right now in the month of November. But their goals percentage around 40%. And I mean, you can say what you want. The Oilers, they're unlucky for sure, but a good hockey team does not go a stretch like this with a goal differential, basically being outscored by a full goal per 60 minutes. The Edmonton Oilers. So yeah, I mean, it's a spot for the Panthers that a lot of people are going to look past, I think. But I like this. I like this Panthers team at this price. I think that with Montour and Ekblad being back in the lineup, it makes it a little bit hard. You take Barkov out of the lineup almost immediately as those guys return, so it makes it a little bit hard to to price this Panthers team. But yeah, Picard confirmed in net for Edmonton. That could be a spark for them, really. I mean, given how Stuart Skinner has played, but. Yeah, I mean, Calvin Picard, there's a reason he's never gotten a chance as an NHL goaltender. And I'm sure he'll make me eat my words for that tonight. So yeah, locking the Panthers in there minus 112. Curious what's going to happen with this one. Looks like some movement towards the Panthers now. Seeing some market makers up there at minus 114 who were just minus 107 a few minutes ago. So yeah, the market seemingly moving toward the Panthers here. And yeah, thanks Connor for letting us know here that that Calvin Pickard will be starting for the Oilers. So that's an interesting one, and another interesting one for sure is the Tampa Bay Lightning hosting the Boston Bruins. Tampa Bay with that comeback win over the Oilers at home on Saturday. Anthony Cirelli missed that one, but he's back in the lineup. He's going. He missed or he was back at practice after missing Saturday's game. So that is good for the Lightning. I mean, they really can't afford to be without any of their key cogs. And speaking of their key cogs here, Nikita Kucherov, is he not a little bit undervalued in the Hart Trophy market right now? NorthStar Bet has him at 13-1. I'm not sure that that is the best price available in the market. There might be a better one out there. I know not too long ago he could be found still at around 18-1. So Kucherov still a player that, I mean, if you think that the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to make a run here and get into the playoffs and squeeze in, then Kucherov is definitely worth a look. I mean, he's been carrying this team. You see what happens when they take him out of the lineup. He missed that game versus Carolina last week, and the Lightning were shut out. They were shut out 2 games in a row. So, I mean, Kucherov, they have to have him in that lineup at full strength. 100%. This guy is the best player or the most valuable player for my money for any team right now. And I mean, if that's what the award is based on, the MVP of their respective team, and of course the MVP of the league, then I think Kucherov has that sort of sewed up right now because he's been carrying this Lightning team. They would not be in the playoff race if not for his play. He's only one back of those Vancouver Canucks players that are leading the league right now. I'm not sure if it's Elias Pettersson, Quinn Hughes, or JT Miller who's in the league, but I know Kucherov is just 1 point back, and he's going to continue to be a very important part of that Lightning lineup. And of course, we've got Andrei Vasilevsky nearing a return. Don't think it's going to happen today, of course, but he's getting close. The problem, though, I guess, if you're looking at the Lightning, is that they've got the toughest schedule, arguably the toughest schedule remaining in the NHL. So that is something to keep in mind there when considering a bet on Kucherov or the Lightning in general, as terms of their long term futures. But I happen to really think that there's some value here in Kucherov to win the Hart Trophy at 13-1, and especially at a price like 18-1. Connor saying he bet him small at 18-1 in the chat. So yeah, let me know in the chat, guys, where you're at in terms of the Hart Trophy odds. Some other awards bets that you might think are valuable right now. Of course, I'm on Jordan Staal at 18-1 to win the Selke Trophy. I bet that a couple of weeks ago, after Greg Wyshynski's Award Watch piece came out. And of course, yeah, definitely always check that out when it comes out periodically throughout the season. It'll provide a lot of insight into who the good awards bets might be. So yeah, Boston, I have it. The model has them as a -122 favorite, assuming that it is Jeremy Swayman and Jonas Johansson in goal. Could be a little bit of a change if it is Linus Ullmark or Matt Tompkins for that matter. But yeah, just right now I'm projecting Swayman and Johansson will be in goal for their respective clubs, and the model thinks that Boston should be a -122 favorite. So really, I'm closer to betting on the Lightning here than I am on the Bruins, but I don't think it'll get there. Some of the market makers up around that +126 range wouldn't be enough for me to bet that this Tampa Bay Lightning team with how they've played. I mean, I guess you could say they've been closer to average in the month of November, but overall on the season, I mean, they're another team. You know, they've got a 50% expected goals percentage, but they're around 41% in terms of their actual goal scoring at 5-on-5. And a good team doesn't do that over a long stretch. The Lightning, they're not an elite team anymore. They're not even really a good team anymore. They've got flashes, and they show them often of that championship team that we remember, but not anything like it these days for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So it would be Tampa Bay or nothing at these numbers. I mean, we talk about Vancouver being a fraud. I don't say that, but I mean, that's kind of the talk right now. The Canucks, they're a fraud, right? You know, you can look at their goals percentage and you compare that to their expected goals percentage. It's not even close. Well, Boston's in a similar territory, right? I mean, the Bruins, they've got okay underlying numbers, not bad by any means, but not exactly great. And it doesn't really match what they've been doing in reality. I mean, a lot of that has to do with their great goaltending that they get from Jeremy Swayman and Linus Ullmark. But they're definitely fortunate for sure to be back in the same spot, picking things up where they left off last season. I think Boston is a very good team, one of the best in the NHL, but pretty tough to find value on them on a game to game basis. I think everybody knows that they're a great team, and you're going to pay a premium to bet on them in most games, and that's the case here. The Rangers, they're taking on the Dallas Stars. They're in Dallas. Assume it's going to be Igor Shesterkin versus Jake Ottinger, so it's two of the best goaltenders in the NHL going head to head. The Rangers plus 128 according to the projection model. So really no interest in this one right now. Philip Hedel, he was supposed to be due back by this time, according to the initial timeline, but doesn't look like he's actually close to getting back in the lineup. But you know who is close? Speaking of the New York area, we'll talk about New Jersey for a second, even though they are not in action on Monday. Nico Hischier, he is back with the Devils. He's at practice today. He's got Bratt on his wing. It looks like and Meyer Palat and Eric Halla and Thomas Nosek, for that matter, all absent from Devils practice. So that's something to watch. But Nico Hischier, first Jack Hughes back in the lineup. Now Nico Hischier is back in the lineup. That's a good thing for the New Jersey Devils going forward. But yeah, no interest in this Rangers Stars game. Should be a good one. Should be a fun one to watch. But from a betting perspective, I think Dallas should be a minus 128 favorite according to the projection model, and the Rangers on the other side at plus 128. So that's pretty much in line with what we're seeing at sports books right now. And I know maybe some of you have made the mistake of rushing to your sports book to find that off-market price that you probably saw in the LA Kings at minus 140. But don't do it. Don't do it unless Cam Talbot is confirmed as the starting goaltender, because right now I'm looking at Cam Talbot and Phoenix Copley starting this one 50-50. I've split them both. That's why the projection says minus 152. Did you do it? You did it. Connor in the chat did not wait for me to get to this game. He went and bet the Kings. Bad move, Connor. But anyway, this is my number. With a 50% chance that either goalie starts. If it's Copley, who might just be the worst goaltender in the league right now, if it's Copley, that's closer to minus 140. If it's Talbot, it's up closer to the minus 160 range. So no value on the Kings if it's Phoenix Copley, and it very well could be, but. The Arizona Coyotes, they've got some goaltending troubles themselves. Karel Vejmelka seems to let in a bad goal just about every game. Connor Ingram has had some impressive starts, but I'm still not sold on him yet, considering he hasn't played all that many minutes. But yeah, the Kings, I mean, a month ago, I would have bet the Coyotes in this spot, regardless of who started in goal. But Talbot has been really good. The Kings have been unbelievable. One of the best teams in the league this season. And yeah, I like the Kings or nothing here, but it definitely matters who starts in goal. Copley to Talbot, it's a big difference. So something to keep in mind there for sure. And I am going to move on, but first I'm going to have to zoom out of my camera a little bit, because I'm just realizing now how close I am to the screen. You think people want to look at me that closely, Jake?
I think they feel the intensity in your eyes a little bit when you really mean what you're talking about, So
I can get intense. I can get it. I can up the intensity for sure. But yeah, LA or nothing. But yeah, with Copley potentially starting in this one, man, it's that's a big difference. He's arguably the worst goaltender in the league. He ranks dead last in goal save above expected, according to Evolving Hockey. And the Coyotes, I know I was really kind of high on them to start the season, and as the season got going, it looked like they were going to be a surprise team, and they still might be. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, you look at where they perform on a game to game basis, like their median performance. not really reflective in their aggregate stats. What you see if you pulled up the team stats that show you a team's 5-on-5 numbers throughout the entire season, just aggregate it. Well, if you look at them, their game by game stats on a median basis, and it really puts it into perspective that the team is probably not as good as we think they are. So I like to take that look at least once a week, where kind of look at the game level things a little bit more than just the topical view of the team stats that I'm kind of looking at every day. Of course, you don't have time to go through every team's game or every game every day in detail, but I do like to spend a little bit of time on that each week, because it does kind of help me zoom out and put things into perspective, or zoom in, sorry, and put things into a little bit better perspective here. So I think Arizona getting a little bit too much love from the market lately. And I'm trying to do what I can to make sure that I'm not on the wrong side of that going forward. But yeah, the Kings, they've looked good. And if you want to talk about futures for a minute, we could do that too. We could pull up my updated projected NHL standings. We could talk about the Los Angeles Kings for a minute, because their odds really haven't moved all that much. At NorthStar Bets, they are currently plus 275 to win the Pacific Division. Of course, Vegas still in the lead. Vancouver still atop the division as well. But the model doesn't believe in the Canucks as much as you might think, and thinks their odds should be closer to 9-1. And it thinks the Kings are actually the shortest shot. It has the Kings winning the division more often than not. So they're in a pretty good position here. And if you look at their strength of schedule, they've got the easiest schedule remaining of any NHL team. So I think there's a real chance for the Kings to go on a run here. I've been talking about it a little bit here for a while. The Kings were plus 350 a couple of weeks ago, and now they're plus 275. The odds just really haven't been fluctuating with the Kings as much as they have been with the Golden Knights and the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks had gotten down to around 5-1 at some point, at one point there. I think the Kings, I mean, they are just a consistent group. They've got great defense. The one thing you've got to worry about is whether or not Cam Talbot can hold up for the rest of this season. But if he played like this in the playoffs, man, look out. So you don't have to worry about the playoffs with this bet though. So LA, I'm a little bit surprised here, because you look at the Pacific Division, or you look at the Pacific Division odds, and there's a bigger gap between the top 3 or 4 teams than you see in some of the other conferences or some of the other divisions. Sorry. And I don't think that's right. I think the Kings are right there with the Vegas Golden Knights in terms of being in the class of the Pacific Division. So you've got to consider the Kings to win the Pacific at plus 275. Shop around though, because there might be some slower moving shops out there. Futures odds typically, don't see as much movement as the game to game stuff that you see every day, whether there's injuries or anything like that, or big changes in the standings. Sometimes the futures odds are a little bit slow to react. So definitely have a look at the LA Kings and consider that one. The Colorado Avalanche, they're taking on the Predators in Nashville. Nashville's a team that is, I think, a bit of a public darling based on their underlying metrics, and they look good in all situations overall. But once again, I mean, strong underlying metrics, but the results just aren't there. And after a certain point, that as the sample size grows, it's hard to just say that this team is unlucky or unfortunate that they haven't fared better in terms of scoring and saving. But UC Saros, he's been struggling. Kevin Lankinen has been good in relief, but he doesn't play all that much. And I would imagine that the Predators know that their best chance to get this thing moving in the right direction is to get UC Saros moving in the right direction. So I don't think they're going to keep him out of the net very long. Maybe Lankinen has earned himself another start. I don't know. But I expect to see UC Saros in the goal for Nashville on Monday. But it's going to be a tough test. The Avs, they've shown a penchant for kind of playing down to some opponents, and that they probably shouldn't be playing down to teams that are more than willing to take it to them if given the opportunity. But the Avs at the same time are really putting together some strong performances more often than not, and they're looking like they're almost, I'd say, overtaking Dallas as the team that I thought was going to be the best team in the Central Division. The Stars still up there, still pretty good. But the Avs, I mean, their numbers are pretty hard to deny. And they should be a minus 137 favorite according to the projection model. That early season push that the Predators made, putting up some strong numbers throughout the final 2-3 weeks of October, and even though they've slipped into November, that's really kind of still making sure that they get some love here from the model each day. But if you have not already, please like the video, subscribe to the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel. I want to see that thumbs up popping up there right now, because you're in here watching. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, and we'll do this every day, Monday to Friday. We'll make it a regular thing, and build a fun community here of people that like to bet on hockey, because that's what we like to do, right? So yeah, the LA Kings, the Arizona Coyotes, the Colorado Avalanche, the Nashville Predators, covered those. We're going to talk a little bit about the Calgary Flames here and the Seattle Kraken. Two teams that I really don't want anything to do with from a betting perspective, unless the odds are really attractive, and they're not here. The model thinks that Seattle should be a minus 103 favorite, and San Jose, and Calgary a plus 103 underdog. So if you look at what we're seeing across the market, that doesn't differ very much from what we're seeing at sportsbooks like NorthStar Bets. So we are seeing right now pick 'em prices across the market. NorthStar currently has minus 110 on the Seattle Kraken, minus 109 on the Calgary Flames. Not anything that I'm interested there. And I don't know if I'm going to be interested in this or not, but I'm seeing some pretty heavy movement towards the Vancouver Canucks. That's for sure. And that might open up some value on this San Jose Sharks team, who has yet to win a game on the road. That is something pretty extraordinary. But yeah, we're seeing this climb up there into the plus 300s. NorthStar Bets currently at plus 275, but some shops up in the plus 300s. I don't know, guys. It's a tough one to price. This Sharks team, they're a tough one to price, and I mean, I think that the odds seem to jump around so much from game to game. Look at where they were priced against the St. Louis Blues. I thought that one was over bet. I almost wanted to fade myself by the end of that one, but I had accumulated so much closing line value. And yeah, I mean, do you not just go for the regulation play here? If you're going to play the Sharks, and just go for it, right? It must be what, 5-1 at this point. I'm actually going to check that out right now. Let's see what the regulation odds are on the San Jose Sharks. And I'm not recommending this by any means, but I mean, like, it's definitely an interesting proposition. So yeah, there's 4-1 out there, plus 459 on the Sharks to win in regulation. But yeah, but after not taking them against St. Louis, not sure I can hop on San Jose now. Yeah, I know. I mean, I feel the same way, but we were able to bet the Blues at minus 148, even like minus 133 was available. It closed at minus 215. And when that happens, I'm sitting there close to game time, and I'm really considering, like, do I fade my own bet here, because the odds had moved so much more than I thought they should move. I thought the Blues should be around minus 189 if I recall correctly. So you had the Sharks up there around that 2-1 price. But I had accumulated so much value on my bet on the Blues that I didn't want to buy off, or didn't want to chew into that plus EV anyway. But yeah, only 10 teams have a better 5-on-5 expected goals percentage than the Calgary Flames since the start of November. So watch out for Calgary here. Watch out for the LA Kings. Watch out for the Florida Panthers, even without Alexander Barkov. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can stomach the Sharks against this Canucks team, especially coming off a loss here with Vancouver. Probably wanting to get back in the win column pretty quickly here. But yeah, Sharks plus 325. That's probably the best price in market right now. And yeah, you know what? Let's do it. Let's go quarter unit. It's going to be the rare quarter unit play We're gonna pick off the Sharks at a good number. We'll see here. You know what? You know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go a quarter unit in regulation. Let's get crazy. Let's get wild. Plus 459 in regulation. That's gonna be fun. They're going to lose 6-1. I know it. But yeah. So that's a quarter unit. We can afford it now. We're up 11 units on the season. We can afford it. We can afford to have a little fun here. So yeah, plus 459, 0.25 units to win about 1.15 units on the San Jose Sharks to win in regulation. So yeah, that's what we got. A half unit play on the Florida Panthers at minus 112, a quarter unit play on the San Jose Sharks at plus 459 to win in regulation. That's the three-way line. And I will say that away teams are typically undervalued on the regulation line, the three-way line. Everybody wants to bet the home favorites on the regulation line, which I think is one of the squarest things you can do. Unless you're going to show me your work and say this is why I'm betting this team to win in regulation, I'm going to assume that you're a super square, because it's really not mispriced at all. In fact, it's rather inflated. If you look at how the home teams, the home favorites perform against the regulation line, it's pretty inflated. And heading into yesterday, I'm not sure what the updated stats are here. I can actually have a look really quick. But heading into yesterday, like regulation wins were basically split um 50-50. And right now, we have got, yeah, so the home team has won 111 games in regulation. The away team has won 106 games in regulation. So a 41% regulation win percentage for the home team, a 39% regulation win percentage for the away team. So there's not much of a difference there between how the home team performs and how the away team performs. But yet, if you look at how these markets are priced, the odds on the home side, especially when they're a favorite, typically are pretty inflated, as opposed to the away team, which you could probably actually find some value on most days playing teams to win in regulation on the away side, or at least you could have so far this season. But anyway, that's pretty much it for Monday's show. I think we've been here long enough. It's our first go around of the live show, so we'll working things out. There'll be some kinks. There will be some, hopefully some more chatter for Jake. I know I haven't given him a chance to jump in here, but he's been pretty quiet. I'm all alone here. Pick up the phone, Jake.
Yeah, not a ton of action in the chat, but I just wanted to say, everybody watching our first live broadcast, thank you. And if you're watching this on VOD later, you didn't catch us live, come on in, watch us live, ask questions you want Andy to answer towards the end of the broadcast, and we'll get you involved. So thanks for watching.
Yeah, for sure, and I echo that. I definitely want some more activity in the chat. Send me your questions, DM me your questions on Twitter if you want me to get to anything. If there's a team or a player or a futures market that you want to look at, if there is a particular betting insight that you're looking for, whether it has to do with the puck line, the regulation line, totals, etc. We can get to that someday. But yeah, that does it for Monday's episode of the Puck Portfolio. Thank you all for joining me. Like I said, I've got the Panthers half unit play at minus 112, and then a bit of a shot here, a bit of a flyer, even though there is some value according to the projection model. The Sharks, the win in regulation, it would be their first road win of the season. Plus 459. It's just a quarter unit play, 0.25 unit. Takuchi bets in the chat. Shark money line tonight for the guys with the nuts. Yeah. Yeah. If you got stones, bet the Sharks, right? So yeah, we're on the Sharks. I know I won't be the only one. It's a fun bet. There are worse things you could do with your money for sure. But the Sharks, 3 days off, 3 days rest heading into this one. Maybe a little bit of a leg up there after taking on the Blues, and a really good performance by the Sharks, their best of the season. So they've got some mojo, some swagger. Let's hope that they aren't feeling too good about themselves heading into Vancouver. But anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for joining me. like the video if you have not already. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already. Also, you can check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, of course. And yeah, tell your friends, tell your hockey friends, your sports betting friends, tell everybody about the Puck Portfolio. I'll see you on Tuesday. We'll be back to preview Wednesday's NHL games. Good luck with your bets. Take care.